Model Lights, Andrew Taylor, I've got on from Livco. I've had you on twice before. So the first time we had a bit of a conversation was 3 and a bit years ago. And that was, I think you're maybe like 4 years into the Livco industry, or Livco sort of building up of the company. When we talked, we were at your apartment in Kangaroo Point. The second time that we talked more so about your personal beliefs and your story and where the company was going to go. So I wanted to just set it up for you, first of all, to boast, because part of the 2024 conversation was what might stop you from getting to where you wanted to be. And you said sort of belief. So I kind of want to check with you is belief still something that's a bit of a blocker for you? And both. I just want to kind of understand for, whatever you want to share publicly, where you see the company right now based on your expectations, or maybe in the way that people might have once dreamed about what success is. Where does Livco sit today?
Yeah, look, belief is still like a massive thing for me. There's days where it's like you're on top of the world, where you're like, fuck yeah, like this, I feel like King Dingaling, like type thing. You feel like the man. And then there's just days where you just bury your head in the sand and you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right way? Like, should I be going this way? Should I go in that way? And it's like very hard, especially with like social media. It's like you see like, the flash of light object syndrome. You're like, oh, I'm here and then I'm here. And then, it can be quite daunting somewhere. But since our last conversation, belief is something that I've really tried to hone in on myself and really, believe in what I'm doing. And it has definitely paid off. Like, I think since our last conversation, we've grown. I think on that year, I think we grew. When was the last time we had a conversation?
It was been mid 2024.
2024. Okay, so yeah. So from 2024 to 2025, roughly, let's say 12 months from now, we've grown nearly 300%.
That's crazy.
Which is fucking, which is wild. And it's like, honestly, it blows my mind, like, that it's even possible. Like, some of the numbers that we're doing now, I'm just like, how, like where are these people coming from? And now that we're going to all these events and they've got, people rocking up. We went to Queensland Raceway with Troy about 2 Fridays ago, and literally like getting out of the car and everyone's like rocking the Livco hat. And I'm like, fuck, this is unreal.
Yeah. I saw someone at can't remember what car park I was in, but I saw them with the Livco hat and I was like, there you go.
And it's like, it's been wild. Like, I've had mates that have been traveling around like America. They'll be sending me photos of like people rocking Livco hats here. So it's been a wild journey. It's been like something that I can't comprehend. And like, it gives me goosebumps, like thinking about it. And I think in our last conversation, I said, like, I feel like we're only just getting started, and like, we've grown 300% from there, but I feel like now we're only just getting started. If that makes sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How customers, so one of the notes I wanted to check was, how important has it been? Okay, let's just say the 300% growth that you're seeing now. What triggered? Was it the extra focus on a particular customer space? Was it just purely doing the same sort of effort that you guys have been putting in, and it's just now been time? It's helped compound the business?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. So definitely time. I think that compound is definitely a thing. But I also think just like coming back to that belief yet again, it's just like we've doubled down on our ad spend. It's like, we've seen the numbers there. Numbers don't fucking lie. Simon says, check the scoreboard. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are there. Like, double down on, just go hard. That is it. And then also just building with our community. It's like, we wouldn't have a brand and when I say we, it's not me, it's everyone that is a part of Livco, like from customers to people that work with inside it. It's like, we wouldn't have a brand if it wasn't for our customer base. So it's like really trying to build that community and connect with them. And I try and, reach out to as many of them as I possibly can when they're in the DMs. But, sometimes it can be quite hard, when your Instagram's popping off on a daily basis. But yeah, that customer service focus is something that we're really trying to dabble into right now, and just really hone in on our current customer base and trying to improve it to be the best that it can possibly be.
Who's a customer? So who's a customer for Livco? Because I guess, so I've got a jumper on from Look, you got a shirt, but I would say principally the product that you sell the most would be hats.
Hats, I would have to say.
9%. Who's the customer that you see based on now, the DMs or the messages that you see from the data of sales that are coming through? Do you have a type of customer that's like, okay, that's really the type of customer Livco seems to attract?
Yeah, look, it's actually funny because we did like a customer journey with one of our branding specialists, and they're like, if your customer was a car, what type of car were they wearing? And we sat there for ages and we figured out, and it came down to 3 cars. It was a Ford Ranger, which was like your tradie, your everyday person type thing. Your C63,
Yeah.
which, you see 63 gym bros and all that type of stuff. And then your HSV, like that, typical Aussie and all that type of stuff. So that varies because it's like, we've got younger demographic, we've got older demographic, but now we're starting to hone into the female demographic, which is crazy because our hats are very big.
Yeah.
And the ladies are loving them. Like the ladies are just like going crazy over them, which is surprising.
I would not.
Yeah.
Is there a certain reason you think why that is?
Because, okay, so for a female, right,
Mm.
when they go to wear their hair, right, they want to wear their hair down.
Yep.
And if they wear their hair down, so I remember them saying this, like, then their ears stick out when they wear a hat type thing, and it makes it all puffed out. But the fact that they can tuck their ears into the hat and have their hair down as well is all something along those lines. It's really
I
weird.
was just that's part of what I was thinking, like whether potentially is the extra hair, so you want it to be a little bit deeper, so you can get it lower and stuff like that.
Yeah, which we've also, in saying that, we've actually just released a new product. We tested it kind of midway through this year, and we re-released it back in August, which is our Ultra Fit. So you've got our Deep Fit. Our Ultra Fit is the same size as our Deep Fit on the last notch, but fully closed. It is huge.
Okay.
It goes up to 68 centimeters. Like, it is fucking massive, right? And I designed this hat for my best mate because he could never find a hat that could fit him. He just looked ridiculous. And we
Yeah,
chucked
like,
it on.
I'm gonna get a big hat for you. Yeah.
Oh man, and like, so we designed one for him, and then we designed one for a good friend of mine, Darren Walters. And he's like, man, it fits perfect. And so we're like, we'll chuck them online. We'll kind of see how it went, and they sold out straight away. And I didn't do anything for months, and then we released them in August 6th, full color range, kind of see how it went. I think we sold out like 75% of them within like a week.
Wow.
Holy shit! And then so one of the boys that we've recently just met brought one, and he's like, man, I've never been able to find a hat that fits. And he's like sending me all these messages. So we sent him like 25 hats 2 weeks ago, and he just went back to my hometown in New Zealand, South Auckland, and he went and interviewed people, and he's just like, have you been able to wear a hat? Blah, blah, blah. And these guys are like, nah, I've never been able to wear a hat. And he's like, try this. So what they've done is they put it to the last notch, thinking this hat's not going to fit them, and they're like, holy
Oh my
fuck,
God,
it's massive. And they're able to fully close up. So it's been a really cool feeling.
Wow. I did see like that video as well, which is interesting because it's all of those you might or might not begin the process of that idea as a, hey, if I do this, it'll generate views, it'll generate clips, it'll generate whatever. It sounds to me like it comes from, as you said, hey, a mate of mine needed this, produced this thing, more people wanted it, you kind of gave it away to a few, then they go on. And that to me is kind of like the recipe for doing, to creating almost a viral product, right? Because it's the word of mouth, it's sharing, and that's what kind of,
It's authentic.
it's authentic. But you see that and you go, oh wow, it's meaningful versus just seeing an ad plastered for a particular thing. So I could see how that manufactures. One of the things, so if you're listening to this right now, go check Livco over the like the Instagram pages in particular, and go back and see that, because one of the awesome things that I saw that Livco does really well is the theme. Theming it and doing it to a sort of a limited sort of style release. Wonderful. The way that you guys like execute on that continuously is brilliant. And I remember seeing you do it years ago with State of Origin, and sometimes it'd be the blue, the pink. Now you're doing it almost on a monthly basis. Two parts. I guess this is someone listening to this who either is thinking of doing something similar to this. How do you keep it, I would say, fresh without it being a over amount of changes for the customer? Because a lot of the time someone will be like, oh well, focus on the one core product, which you are, it's hats, but you're rotating through in terms of like, here's a new special, here's a new special. Do you see either by the numbers that people kind of get a little bit over that and you just hit new customers coming through? How do you try and manage the too much of continuous change, let's just say, versus keeping it like that limited edition that keeps people like continuously engaged, based on like how your customers also participate?
So with our limited edition drop, you'll actually be quite surprised. Our returning customer base on our limited edition drop sits anywhere between like 65 and 70% on that particular day.
Okay.
So which is wild, right? So we don't actually acquire new customers on these limited edition drops. They're just also existing customers.
Okay.
And we've been doing limited edition drops like 18 months now. So it's pretty much a new drop every single month. There is a time and a place where you stretch that too much, and it's like you burn through the same audience something. And it's like, for example, and I'm happy to admit this, live, and we did a drop in August, but we did a drop every single Wednesday in August of a limited edition color. And it just became too much. Like it just became it lost the authenticness to it. because it's like, oh, it's just another one, it's just another one,
Yep.
it's just another one. Whereas opposed to where we only drop one color, one color per month, that's it. People like they're flocking for it, and if people miss out for it, like they're willing to buy it. Like there's buy and sell groups for Livco now, where people are selling
Really?
buy and sell groups where people like they brought bulk and then they're selling them online and like they're putting a markup. Like, you know what, you do your thing.
Of course, yeah.
You know, first best trip. So yeah, look, I think just honing in on that product, that limited edition, has really worked well for us in that sense.
Yeah, okay. Because and I'm gonna see, like, full transparency. I remember seeing you do the August one, and I felt that as like someone who's purchased from Lifco before. I was like, oh, it feels like there's too many things going on there in August. Whereas seeing it on like the month, it almost feels exclusive. It feels like you want to get connected. Someone who you've been connecting with as well lately is Troy. So where did that come from? 'Cause I kind of want to understand who you partner with and who you don't partner with, right? Like Livco's now to the stage that it's growing to be a brand that people know and trust. How do you start connecting who you want to connect to, who you don't want to connect to? How did connecting with Troy sort of work out? Because I see him now in plenty of things that you're producing and sort of vice versa. How did that work out? How do you go about with those sort of connections with Livco?
Yeah, like first off, we don't do any influencer marketing whatsoever. I'm not a huge fan of it because I find that it's just influencers just pushing just a product just for the sake of getting paid, right? And I'm not about that. It's like I would rather have our customer base push the brand than getting somebody that's got millions of followers that don't really care about the brand. At least I know somebody that's got 300 followers. They live and breathe the brand. Like that means more to me than fucking old, you know, Bob Jones down the street that's got 1 million followers, right? How the connection actually came about, I'm going to say manifestation, right?
Okay.
The reason I said this is because I had a good conversation with a good friend of mine, Maria, who works in like the motor industry. And I said to her, I was like, you must have some connections to like Adrian or Troy or whatever. And she's like, oh, look, I can try, but I don't think it's going to work type thing. I was like, okay. And then I was having a call with a friend of mine, Cooper. And I was like, bro, like I've got to somehow get in. I don't know how, but I've got to get in there somehow. And I had sent Troy a message on Instagram. And I think he had responded back to it. And then it was like the next day, he put up a post going, hey, I'm looking to not monetize my YouTube channel, like looking for a couple of people to jump on board to help fund it, blah, blah, blah. Messaged him. I was like, keen, like, don't give a fuck about the price. Let's just make this happen type thing. And so we jumped on a call. And I think me and him were on the call for like a good hour and a half, just chatting about everything. And I got off that call and I was like, fuck, this dude is an actual like genuine person. Like, you know, you see what you see on social media, but then you actually get the real person that's, you know, not in front of the camera and all that type of stuff. Not saying that he's not a real person, but just the genuineness of what he wanted to do and how he wanted to help his audience out and what he wanted to give back to it. I was like, fuck yeah, like let's do it. So we teamed up. It was all going well. Everything was going perfect. And then I was like, what if we bring out like an exclusive like Troy candy product? Let's see how this is going to go. And we did it and it went fucking crazy.
This was the white hat with the gold trimming?
No, this was the Tiffany, the white.
Oh, this is the Tiffany one. Okay,
and it went absolutely crazy. Which was like, I was like, holy shit. And I still remember sitting there looking at the numbers going, fuck, is this even possible? Like type thing. So yeah, we've got an exclusive deal together where we pay for his YouTube channel. So he's able to fund his builds, get all like, you know, his film crew and edits it all and stuff. Cause there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so look, I hope that he doesn't hear this, but I probably think that we probably should pay him more, but for the amount of work that he actually puts into some of these YouTube channels. So we do that. And then we just do like exclusive drops and stuff like that. But it's not like me going to him and going, I need you to do this. I need you to do that type thing. It's like, hey bro, have you thought about doing this color? Like, let's sit down. Like we caught up last week and we're chatting about colors for the next 12 months. But it's not just that. It's like when we did our first ever launch with him, it was like, we did the photo shoot and everything along those lines. We'd finished it. He's like, now you're 100% happy with it. Like, is there anything else that you need? Like, let me know what you need type thing. So we did that. We launched it. I think like 5 minutes after launching, he called me straight away. And he's like, man, how's it going? Like, where's it at? Like, let me know the numbers. An hour later calls me. And then that night calls me that night. He's like, where's it all at? Like, are you okay with it? Like, is there anything more that I need to do? And it was like, it was
genuine.
So fucking genuine that you just don't see that shit these days. So yeah, that network with Troy was like amazing. And now it's like, we're just trying to find the next person that can kind of fit into that.
I mean, I was going to throw a name and you already mentioned him, right?
Who's that?
Portelli.
Oh, mate, I'm trying.
Manifesting. Yeah. See, mate, it's a very interesting concept that you bring up, right? Because it's a very similar thing when it comes to podcasting and interviewing. And I was saying to you before we went on air, one of the things we're trying to do, I'm sure all podcasters, if they do interviews, is to connect with other like-minded, interesting individuals, whatever it is that the topic may be. Adrian is such a person that I've loved to go in and connect. And again, it's kind of what are the individuals that you might know that helps you connect in that?
Yep.
I think the way that you sort of started manifesting, I think, yes, there's part manifesting, like you've talked about, but you also were putting in the effort and the action of how do I connect? And then there's loads of avenues. You got to make yourself known some way. And then when there's an opportunity to support and add some value, then that value might return in favor to yourself as well, right?
I think it's like you always got to give, right? My biggest thing is it's like, regardless of, us, paying for, Troy's YouTube channel, it's like, I'm always like saying, I'm like, bro, what can I do for you? Like, what can I do for you? Because it's like, yeah, you're doing this for us. And yeah, there's a fair exchange when there's obviously monetary involved, but it's like, what else can I do for you? Like, and that'd be the same for if like, for like, if I want to try and get Adrian, it's like, what can I do for him? Like, because he doesn't need it. He's got the money, like he's got whatever he needs but it's like, what can I do for him to make his life easier? Type thing. I think that's where so many people go wrong when they try and work with people, is like, they want to take rather than give. Like, my biggest thing is like, give. And when the time is right, you can then put your hand out and ask for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the concept comes, you probably picked it up the same way Gary V's.
Yeah.
Give, right hook, left hook, give, then take at the very end. Which actually, interestingly enough, so what did I go onto? I went into X / what used to be Twitter, because that was, I believe, you've got one other post, but then you had one post about buying Gary V book in 2017 or 2018 on Twitter, right? And the reason I went on there, because I was like, okay, let me just see what Andrew's been posting.
I wouldn't even know what's on there.
Exactly. It's only 2 posts.
Oh, really?
2 posts, right? And I think it was like 7 followers on X. And the reason I'm calling it out is channels. Channels matter. So, you might see that a particular brand will lean into X, or it might lean into YouTube or TikTok or something else, right? And at least from what I've seen from the outside right now, Livco does really well through the social media of Instagram. And I don't know if you continue still at TikTok, and I know you're doing lives and getting people. Right now, what seems to be working as a channel for you, for yourself, or for Livco? And do you see that changing at all? So that's always an interesting question to me.
Yeah, Instagram is like our main channel, big time. TikTok is probably our secondary channel. I still believe TikTok is so underrated, big time, massively underrated. But the issue with me inside the business right now is I'm stretched so thin that I just don't have time to be able to, and look, it's just fucking excuses, to be honest. But I just don't have time to like put into like TikTok and creating stuff and all that type of stuff, because obviously I'm,
there's limited energy that you can.
Yeah, but look, I believe that the future that we're probably going to go into is like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, YouTube, but as in like small 25-minute series of what's it like? We're creating a TV show with inside the workplace. So it's like people not watching Netflix, they're watching what we do and having like not like a skit, but kind of like the day in the life of like kind of what we're doing, but not in an inspirational way, but like as in like when shit goes to fuck up, like what's going on, how are we going to be troubleshooting this Australia Post issue or whatever it is, like, and then like filming that and documenting and putting that online is like, the home and away of hat and show type thing,
And honestly, it's not for everyone. I get that. I froth that material. The Hormozis, when they do that sort of stuff, man, especially Layla, when Layla Hormozi, her team, they don't do it all that often, but when they produce those behind the scenes, kind of, they love them. Same thing with Stephen Bartlett's stuff behind, which he hasn't done it for a while. Stephen, you haven't done it for a while. Get on it, but that sort of stuff, love it. Obviously, there's an opportunity that you're starting to come up with the car that you're kind of branding from Livco, right? Which is going to be the HSV. You've decided to choose. So, okay, part of that. So talk to me about that idea. And again, talk about it in the space of some of the things that we're talking about here. Again, Livco is a company that's been around now for almost 10 years. So you're doing things that you wouldn't recommend potentially for a company that's starting now. Why that idea of the car and the branding? Is it purely the fact that, it more engagement? You've got a fascination of, just doing with a car, and I guess something that Troy does as well. What's the idea behind there in terms of what's your outcomes in doing something like that?
Yeah, my thing was like, how can I bring the community together type thing? Because obviously, we're on this side and our customer base is on this side. It's like, how can we bring it together to be one? So like they feel like they're a part of something, like they're a part of something. And then I was like, a lot of people that don't know me, I was heavy in the car scene in New Zealand, come to Australia, got out of it type thing.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm starting to buy, older cars and doing them up and stuff like this. And I was like, okay, like let's do something. So, and I think that's when we came down to our customer base when we were trying to figure out who it is, like type thing. So that's when I went to our Instagram. I was like, if Livco was a car, what would it be? And it's like, came up with all these options. So we like narrowed it down. It was like between a Dodge Ram and a Chev Silverado, which at the time I wanted the Chev Silverado. I was like, this is what I want type thing. And then it was like, between that, Audi, and then there was they just said HSV, right? So then we just narrowed it down again. It's like, out of these three, which one would you go? And it was like, the Dodge Ram, the Audi RS6, and the HSV Maloo. And I was like, okay, cool. So we went and test drove some cars. And so we walked into Dodge and we're like, oh, this is sick, like type thing. I was like, oh, it just didn't attract me to live. It just didn't feel like Livco, right? And I was like, nah, that's definitely not it. But this is what people want. So then we went into Audi, fell in love with the Audi RS6. Like, I was absolutely like, bro, I was like, this is like sexy. Like, they don't make them no more. They're very hard to get. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we walked into a dealership here in Brisbane, and they had a HSV GTS. And I looked at this thing and I was like, fuck, that's got Livco written all over it. I was like, holy stuff. So we took it for a test drive and I was like, man, that's really it. So then we put it back up on the pole and we're like, look, out of these three cars, we went and we filmed it all. We chucked up along. We're like, out of these three cars, which one would you guys want? And we just let the audience pick. Like, because it's not it is obviously because I'm driving it. But it's like, it's up to them. Like, what do they want? And the HSV just flew. Because like we just absolutely wiped it out. So we picked it up from this guy in Victoria, sight unseen.
Okay.
Dumped all this money into his account and I was fucking stressing out. And it rocked up here to Brisbane and I was like, I started up and I was like, fuck
Yeah, this is the last story.
it.
It's amazing as well that, you'd obviously conceptualize what the car might be that represents a brand. And all of a sudden when you put it to the vote, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, overwhelmingly, that's what it is. I actually had a night around now. Thinking about this, what are the metrics that Livco or you yourself ignore now that way back in the day when you first started, you might have worshipped or just overcapitalized on or overthought on, where now you kind of go, I'll give you an example if you're thinking through. I used to measure exact YouTube subscribers, Instagram subscribers on there, all that sort of stuff on a weekly basis. And I had a conversation with my mate doing it and going up by 2% and 3%. Whereas now we go, actually, that's immaterial. It actually means nothing to the point of when we're trying to give value to the listeners and we're going through, it's actually those who engage on a weekly basis through our Discord or through commentary or who send boostergrams. That's actually what we care about, not so much those other numbers that might not be reflective of it. So, for you, what are the metrics that you might have really worshipped back in the day, or things that you overvalue, let's just say, when now you go, actually, just kind of ignore that?
Yeah, I definitely followers. Like, okay, everyone starts like, oh, I want all these followers. Followers don't mean shit. Like, followers are going to be like gone in the next 18 months. Like, they're not even going to mean anything, right? They're going to be gone. Likes, they don't mean shit to me. Like, I couldn't care. If I got one like on a post, I could not care less, right? My metrics, like, that I'd be focused on, like, if it was just from a social media point of view, would be like just pure engagement. How many comments am I getting? How many people are saving? How many people are sharing it? Those would be the three things that I'd be focusing on. But yeah, followers don't mean anything. Likes don't mean anything. People obsess over views as well. To be honest, I don't really care about views either. Like, yes, it's going to get eyeballs, but it's like, you may potentially be getting the wrong eyeballs. Like, I know people out there that get, hundreds of thousands of views, but if they were to put a product up for sale, it's just not going to sell. Because they're just targeting the wrong people. So yeah, those are probably the main metrics.
Talking a little bit more operationally here. So you said earlier on the podcast that, and we might be talking about it offline, that, you've decided to invest more money into the ad spend because you basically, hey, let's double down. Things are working well. Let's double down. In your experience, 'cause I know absolutely nothing in relation to this, is there a limit or does that start breaking down at some point? So if you right now decide, hey, this is going really well, double it down again, double down again, bigger, bigger, bigger. Does that concept start breaking down at some point, either because of it's a limit on the customers they potentially click, or because it just hits a curve where it's like, okay, you're not now getting the value that you actually thought you were from that particular ad spend? Have you seen that, with Livco and like experience it? How do you, well, I guess, how do you try and hit as close as possible to like, what the maximum you can spend without falling off that cliff and just overspending.
So I do things differently. I will push it until it breaks.
Right.
Like
Okay.
I
Yep.
push it, like think about it like your car, like it's fucking redlining, and I'm like pushing it as hard as possible, and then it will break, right? But as soon as it breaks, I'll allow it for like 3 days in the red. So I was like, 1 day, okay, cool. What can I change? 2 days, fuck, we're still in the red. 3 days, all right, right. Now it's time to pull back.
Yeah.
Then it's like I find that it's like you should always try and like, run forward and then take a couple of steps back, recoup, regenerate, fuel up, go again, and just keep pushing those limits. August was a massive month for us where we were redlining like big time, where we were just like trying to push the limits. And I'm not saying redlining as in like we're running at a loss, and just meaning like we just hit our ceiling of where we could potentially be. Right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's other things to, take into account. It's like, when you're running Google ads, TikTok ads, Facebook ads, are you, is there a crossover between them? Like, and we got to see the numbers. Is like, is there a crossover? Is Google attributing data that Facebook's also attributing as well? And like, where's the drop off point? Or are we, Facebook is forever changing pretty much on a daily basis. It's like, is the campaign that we're running here, and here, are they having a crossover? And what's the lap on that? And like, do we pull back budget here and do we go a separate way? And we've recently just done that with our ad account in the last probably month, where there was one particular campaign that we were just doubling down and we're just going really, really strong. And then we actually broke down the numbers. We're like, actually, hold on. There's a lot of crossover here. Let's separate them. Let's spread them out. And then they're now just already hitting brand new people, which is great. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. There's like, I've just mainly focused on a thing called like my MER, which is my marketing expense ratio. So if my marketing expense ratio is under a certain percent, it's like, fuck, just keep going. Just go and go and go until it breaks. Come back, recoup, go again.
If you and you do help out a lot of individuals who are starting their own companies and stuff like that, do you generally, so again, someone listening and it's essentially just they're starting a company or they're a year in, let's just say roughly around that, would that still be a strategy that you would play out in those early days for a company? Again, most of them are limited in their budget of some kind. Would a suggestion still there be, if you find something that works, just double down with whatever you've got?
100%.
Okay.
I recently took on a company as of late. They were doing roughly around $10,000 to $15,000 a month online. We taught them how to run all the Facebook ads, and we're looking at all the data. And I was looking at this and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, we need to double down ASAP. Like, we need to do it. And this was going back in June, I think it was. So they were doing $10,000 to $15,000 a month. Now they're averaging anywhere between $200,000 to $250,000 a month of revenue. Because it's like, I can just see that gap and I'm like, hone into it. They were a little bit more established, but if let's say you came to me right now and you're like, Andrew, I want to start a brand, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's set the foundation up. We need to know every single cost that you have in your business right now. I want to know every single number. Then we're going to work out your marketing expense ratio, and that's the maximum that we're going to spend in marketing for that. If we can see the data that's there, we're going to double down. So let's say you're spending $20 a day in Facebook ads, right? And we get one sale and it costs you $20. And it's like, okay, cool, we're profitable. Cool, let's go $40. Then we're going to go $80. Then we go $120, and then we're going to go $240, and then we're just going to keep scaling up from there. And that's how we've been able to help so many other brands that weren't able to get over, even that $10,000 mark. That, even some of them that are working really close to me now, they're, doing $100,000 a month.
What's absolutely insane to me, and this is the value, I guess, of talking to individuals like you, for people who are in more so starting positions, it's that, and I'm going to underline it here on my note tribe, it's the belief, because
100%.
you could just say the marketing expense ratio, it's just that, just double down. And it's actually fairly simple if you were to, talk about it with someone, but it's the belief that, oh, but crap, I'm on $5,000 a month. I can't just double down on this particular thing. That's like the last of my dollars that I have available to do this marketing. But it's because you've seen it and others who are more experienced go, yes, that's what everyone goes through, right? That's like, you have to go through
I've
that.
been through that.
Yeah.
I remember Matt. So Matt still works closely with me now. It's like, I remember back in the day when I was at Kangaroo Point, my first Kangaroo Point apartment, and he would be like, double now. I was like, nah, man. I was like, I can't afford that. I can't just do it. Now I look back on that, I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, you could have like scaled so much faster, but you just don't know. But it's also just having that person beside you. And that's what I do with a lot of my clients, my one-on-one clients. I literally like hold their hand and I'm like, we're going to do this. Like, I can promise you that it's not going to break. Like, I've seen these done before. I understand. And it's like getting them to believe in me. And then if they can believe into me and then I can show them that this is the right path, then it's pretty much anything that I say, I know that they're going to jump. And, Emma is a massive person for that. Chick that I work closely with and, a partnership with inside her business now. It's like, she was like that too. She was like, "Oh, Andrew, I can't do that." And she's like freaking out. And now she like looks at it and she's like, she can come to me and I'm going to tell her what to do. And she's going to not even second guess.
Yep.
She's just going to do it straight away,
do it.
which is cool.
What's the thing now then that you're second guessing still on?
What is something that I'm second guessing on? Being able to do what I'm able to do for a long period of time at this point in time of my life.
Oh,
Right. So because I have stretched myself so much that things with inside the business need to change ASAP, or I'm going to have a mental breakdown or something's going to happen. Like, because it's like, as I said, we've scaled 300%. That's a lot to take on for myself and trying to oversee. So a lot of it's just coming down to systems and processes. And that's what we're doing. We did a lot of it over the weekend, is just breaking down the numbers with inside the business. Like, where do we need to do? How can we systemize everything to make things easier? Because it's like, I need to be focusing on the growth and like the bigger picture. I can't be in doing the day-to-day tasks anymore. Because, when I'm in there, then it's like, it's holding us back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like for you in the stage probably the company is now, again, the value that you give to the company is 1,000-fold in supporting the bigger picture than you doing the precise thing to him. I think you think of like an Elon Musk where, his time might be worth whatever, $10 million an hour, right? You don't get someone to be doing the Facebook ads at $10 million an hour.
Nah.
You want them to be doing the particular thing that's going to give the maximum amount of value. And in any growing company, you're going to see that. And I guess you're starting to hit that traction point where you've got so much growth coming out of it, but you've got to position yourself into a place where it allows that. The biggest challenge, of course, for everyone, and you're experiencing, and you know it full well, is systems and processes will work for a certain extent in time, and then you shift and change, and you do it again, and then you hit another growth point, and once again, you need to shift and change with them. From looking back again, 2016 Andrew, what do you think you optimize now that 2016 Andrew just wouldn't understand?
As much as I say I don't believe in myself sometimes, it would 100% be belief and networking around the right fucking people.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a huge thing. Being around people where it's like, even like I use Troy as an example, like we chat about like business and numbers and stuff like that, where he's like, where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. He's like, you fucking can. Like, don't, like, no, like you can do it. Or, somebody will show me the numbers that they're doing inside their business. And it's like, I'll show my parents what we're doing. And they're like, oh my God, this is not even right. Like, how are you even able to do that? I'm like, that is nothing compared to what Joe's just showed. Joe's like doing triple that. And it's like, seeing that they're able to do it, it's like, anything is fucking possible. Like, the ceiling is so goddamn big. So it's like, coming back to that belief in yourself and just know that fucking everything's going to be okay and everything's going to happen for a reason. Because you remember back in 2016, like, I felt like my whole world had like fallen apart. Like, I was like, where is the direction that I'm going? Are we doubling in Livco? Like, what direction are we going? And it's like, if only Andrew knew what he knew now back then, that I would have got my head out of the sand and fucking just steamed on.
Well, and another thing, I guess most humans think this way, where it's you overestimate what you can do in the short term, and you absolutely underestimate what you can do in 10 years in the longer term, 100%. Right? So it's coming up to 10 years on Livco. Everything seems to be hitting the right mark. But if you were to go, 10 years into the future now with Livco, where do you still see the position of the company? And where do you see yourself within that company? Do you see yourself as someone who you go, look, this is growing really well. You might want to step away and do other things that may be starting to play around your mind. Do you see it as, I'm going to double down on this particular concept and idea of Livco? I wanted to go even bigger. Last time we conversed about, you wanted to be basically the known brand in Australia for hats, or deep hats, and then the fits are there. So we're in 2025. Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years when it comes to the concept of what you're building right now?
5 years, we will be Australia's #1 hat company in Australia, in New Zealand, and want to be taken on the US market. Like, that is like the end goal. It's like, we want to be the best when it comes to hat. And that could be, diversifying our ranges from not just having deep fits and ultra fits, but also having standard fits as well. Like, we want to be like the go-to players for all that type of stuff within the next 5 years. The next 10 years would be probably looking at like acquiring a lot of other companies essentially. Working with a number of companies at this point in time where it's like we're helping them build and scale and all that type of stuff. And a part of that is like, we will acquire, 10 or 20% of that, but we're going to take you from here and we're going to fucking take you up here.
Yep.
Because I'm going to teach you everything that I have done inside, all the wrongdoings that I've done inside my business, then I'm going to put all the right doings inside your business. And I'm going to scale you so much more faster.
Yep.
So, and my whole philosophy from when we first started is just helping people. It's like, if I can get to a stage in 10 years time where I'm just giving back and just giving just pure knowledge to like young people, starting brands, businesses, whatever it is, like, I think I'd live like a very happy man.
Yeah. Okay. So, which is wonderful to hear that because, and again, it's each to their own. There's some people like I've talked to people on this podcast, and whether they shared it on the podcast or not, they were building a particular company for an exit, and that's something that they're aiming for. But like yourself, there's others who I've spoken to who, their value add, what they want to do is support people, help people, and it's kind of immaterial where they're doing it. For you, it's this vehicle that you're pursuing now, and you're pushing that and doubling down on it. For as far as it sort of seems to me, you've already talked about it from a, I guess, systems and process perspective for you as a business. Where do you see in yourself that you still want to try to evolve on or improve on with 2025 Android as it stands, right? Because there might be things in the business that you've had to, put a little more effort and maybe take away from training or do certain things. Where do you see you personally as like, okay, this is maybe my next thing to try and improve upon or get better at?
I think probably managing my time. Like, bro, I waste so much time. Like, I'm like, I'm busy, bro. They're like half an hour of scrolling. Like, I think, probably managing my time and just being able to have the freedom to do a lot more things. Because, at the moment it's, 4:45 in the morning right through till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Some nights, like there's some big days in there, but able to free them up. But in saying that, there's like, I've got a lot of free time where I can just be like, I'm going to go down the coast for the day and just chill out and relax type thing. But also having more of that free time, structuring my day and just setting up those systems and processes so that my team can do what they need to do. I can focus on the growth side of things. But also, I think for the next 12 months would be definitely focusing on my health, mental health, and being present. I think that's probably a huge thing for me over the next 12 to 18 months. It's just being present with inside my life, my family, my friends, and all those types of people. Because you know what it's like as a business owner, man. You sit there, we have a conversation. We have a conversation now, and I'm like, okay, I've got to do Facebook ads, and I'm going to set that up. But I'm speaking to you, but I'm not. If they, sometimes you're just not there. And sometimes I find that when I'm with like friends or family, it's like, they're having a conversation with me, but I'm like, I'm not there.
Yeah. You're in the and this is the beautiful thing that allows people who think that way to succeed. Because you're like, I'm thinking of this and this idea. But, the personal experience for me is I've tried as much as possible between say like 6 to 7:30, no phones, no digital usage, like maximal time with my daughter. Right. But I've caught myself so many times where I'm with my daughter and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, this idea, I want to create this particular content. And what about this, the response? And you just fall away from being present. And, that, especially, being a parent goes very quick, and all of a sudden you'll go, oh man,
Where's the time?
Where's the time gone? You wish upon like, oh, I can't wait till they do this, they do that, but that comes and goes, and all of a sudden you go through. And I don't know if do you yourself find yourself in that position where, again, we can go all the way back to 2016 or some other previous version of yourself where you said to yourself that you'd be happy at this point when you achieve this, and you've flown by that for whatever purpose. Do you get caught in that where you go sometimes like, oh yeah, but I've got to grow this now, 300%, it's going to be another 300% for the next one. Do you run into that challenge still of,
all the time? And it's probably like my biggest downfall is it's like, I've now got a goal in my mind, like a 5 to 10 year goal that I know that as soon as that's done, that's it. There's no more. Like that's it. No more. Like, don't push the boundaries any harder. Because I've made it so unachievable that, well, I wouldn't have made it unachievable, but it's so big that like, if it does, sorry, I should say when it does, like, that's it, Andrew. Like, just stop. Just stop and just take a different direction and take a step back. Because, we as humans, it's like we've got a goal in mind, and then it's like we get to that goal, and then then we've got another goal, and then we've got another goal, and we've got another goal. And then it's like, if you've got a partner and you're present in that, and you say to your partner, like, hey, I'm going to do this, and when I achieve this, it's going to be so much better. I'm going to be more present in there. And then it's like, then you've got another goal, and it's like, hold on, my partner's in. It's just like, fuck, I'm waiting around for this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's like, if you're going to have that, you also need to have your partner on side with that type of stuff too. So they can understand, because otherwise that's when your marriage falls apart. That's when everything goes bad. Yeah.
If so with that in mind as well, because a lot of business building or creating a brand, whatever you may be, part of it is sometimes at the beginning you have to just tear your face, work as hard as you possibly can. But if you had to restart Livco for whatever reason or another brand, right, and you have done new brands today, next year, whatever it may be, how much would you still say to someone doing a new or yourself that yes, it matters to have that mental health and to look after yourself, but would you still prioritize that over just working your absolute face off until a certain time to get into a position? Right? Because this is the crux of things, and I've said this to you about the podcast. What I like to understand from people is not just what they're doing now when they're really successful, but what they were doing when it was right at the beginning. So with all of your wisdom now, if you were to start it again, would you go, oh yeah, I'm going to take it a little bit slower and I'm going to be, caring about all of these various things? Or would you based on knowing the pros and cons and go, nah, man, I would go hard at the paint once again until I get to a certain threshold to get it going.
To be honest, like if I had to start again, let's say I lost Livco tomorrow,
Yep.
and I had to start everything again, fuck, I'd be getting in that ring and I'd be scrapping. I'd be like, fuck everything else. Like, it's time to go. Because you've just got that spot. When your back's up against the wall and there's nothing else, the only way is to go up, and you're going to fucking do everything in your power to get there. Right. And when you've got all that anger or you've got all that built up, drive in you, use it while it's there. When you've got it, fucking take it. Don't fall back on things, because you can just fall into comfort zones. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I feel a little bit off today. I'll do it tomorrow. It's fuck, no one's coming to save you, bro. You've got to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd 100%. I'd probably get in that.
It's I like hearing that for the pure reason that in people who are successful, and I would say from what you were doing to what you set your mind to what you're doing now, you are successful because you've gone, this is what I'm thinking. My actions follow through and I've accomplished that. That's success, right? And often when people hear that or they talk about what you're doing now and all the ideas and everything else, they take for granted when someone says, oh, I'm going to balance and making sure that I'm using my time proactively and putting my energy well. And you forget that for whatever period of time, year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, people were working the ass off to get to a particular point to then have the grace to then be okay, right?
Yep.
We know a mutual friend, Dan.
Yep.
He still works his ass off, right? Works his ass off. But even though he works hard now, he worked like crazy beforehand as well, right?
Yep.
So people don't realize, and if you're listening to this and you go, I'll give you the example. I had an idea of doing some sort of brand, like a clothing brand, and you've given this feedback to me before. Clothing brand, oh man, think of something else.
Yeah.
And again, we've got a couple of products coming through, so we could test a few different things. We're setting up all of the usual things that I needed, and I just hit this point of realization of there's another individual who was helping out to do that, and both the passion and the time just wasn't as much there. And we went, to continue this right now, I don't even know how much it would take in terms of energy, and I'm doing so many other things at the moment. I can't invest into that right now. And so hearing you kind of say that in terms of, if you lost everything right now, you would just scrap, and it would be a full focus on that. I hope people take that away, that if you're looking to do something new, it's not that it can't be done. It's not that you can't grow it, but be prepared, just like everyone else who began something and made it successful. You got to be pretty obsessed. You got to be really damn obsessed.
Proper obsessed to do that type of stuff. And that's if you have an idea and you want to do it and you don't want to action it right now. I get DMs all the time. People want to start this and I'll help them out. 6 months later, they're back again. They're like, oh, I'm still, I'm like, forget about it. You've lost it. You need to fucking have that hunger while it's there. And it's we mentioned before about Chamfish, and it's the boys that were partnered up for it. It's man, it's the Nev that's a part of it. Nev is based in New Zealand, a good mate of ours, and they're 2 hours ahead. I'm going to bed at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's messaging me. He's posting stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, bro, it's fucking 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But he's got that hunger inside him. He's got that that fight for him, And Oz is another one, and Oz is a professional fighter, and he's got the fucking dog within him. He's ready to scrap it any single time. It's when you want to start these things, it's you must be ready to put 100% in for the next 6 to 12 months, and then be able to take a step back to be able to recoup, regather, and then go again.
Yeah. And in that, that example that you gave there, it was, again, people might see, hey, a drop happened with a t-shirt and oh my God, they're sold out and they'll do things. And it's like, and yes, but take into context how much lead up was done an effort to get it to a position that you got a trusted customer base and enough individuals that then will transition that into, some sort of sales, right? And again, they gave a lot of value for a long time to then be able to ask for that value and then return it in favor. So I think, my big takeaway talking to you and others, it's like the level of obsession and the level of care for a long time that nobody sees until success comes and everyone thinks it's, oh, wow, it's all going well. It's like, man, yes,
Bro,
but you don't
you
get.
see- Yeah, 100%. People don't see what's going. Even like going on holiday, it's like you see those TikToks. It's like it's all well and good dating a business person until you go on holiday. It's like phone call, phone call, phone call. Like that's literally what it's like. Phones blowing up all hours of the night. Like it's just, and you just got to be prepared to take it because when it's hot, it's like you grab that and you fucking run with it. Because when it's down, you're like, oh, I wish that my phone was blowing up.
Absolutely, yeah. The last one here I've got for you, right? It's something about trust. So for me, like a little note, trust is built by drops but lost in buckets.
Oh yeah,
Right? Lost in buckets. So I don't actually know this, in the industry you're in right now, does that apply? Does a trust aspect happen? Have you seen that in some way, shape, or form where the ball was dropped and you saw a little bit of the trust drop for whatever reason? What was the learning around that, if there was any?
Oh, well, it's actually funny. We're in the middle of this right now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, we've got our manufacturer. We went to China. We did everything. Everything was going perfect. We built this relationship. We worked with them for a number of years. And I just started to see things starting to drop the ball, right? Our customers weren't noticed, but I noticed it. Just like every little detail, like just the smaller things out by a mil, like the smallest things. Like I will check majority of things. And I'm like, things are not here. We went to China. We built that relationship. Everything was all fine. They're like, yep, QC is going to be a lot better. And it just kept dropping the ball. We were midway through August. I scrapped all manufacturing. I literally told them to burn the shit that they have there. I don't want it. Don't send it to me. Just because it kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And in the space of about like 2 weeks, bro, it was like all guns blazing. I had to find new manufacturers. I had to sample everything. We're just about to go into Black Friday, which is our busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
And we may not even get stock till November, like, which is absolutely wild.
Okay.
But it's like, that was the thing that I had to do, that if I didn't pull that off now, we could lose it altogether. Because, the QC could like just drop. And we could lose our whole customer base. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. I would rather have no revenue coming through, knowing that we're building something great and going back to the drawing board and making it fucking perfect, than trying to sell things to people and then not be happy with it. I would rather have money sitting in the warehouse and send that shit back to China than fucking try and sell it to somebody. And I think that's the difference between other people. Is like, they're like, oh fuck, I just send it out. Just,
Yeah.
And it's like, it just takes one video to ruin your whole reputation. And that's a big thing.
Yeah. And I think to underscore that for people, so to say it again, you forego revenue coming in, right? Actual hard money, because it is worse off at that point to 1, 2, 3 customers to go, oh, what's happened to this product? There's an expectation and you miss that expectation. You've gone, it is more valuable to you to keep that expectation of what Livco is than to gain revenue at the expense of that. And look, you said you were still going through that. To find a new manufacturer, especially if you're Australia based or someone that's like in China or elsewhere, right? How do you go about that? By contacts that you've got there, through just the normal channels of just like online shops? What's the way now that you've seen, obviously been experienced, to find the right next manufacturer?
Yeah, well, we went to Canton Fair at the start of the year. That was an eye opener. Like my mind was like, I think we probably only did like a quarter to maybe half of the whole Canton Fair, and we were there for 3 days. We're doing like 20,000 steps a day. Like it was massive. Like
if you don't know, if you're not on the like e-commerce space or anything like that, like just look up some videos of the Canton Fair. It's crazy. Like it's massive. Yeah.
Wild. And so we connected with so many different manufacturers and looked at all the stuff, and we had like a ranking system. So every single store that we went to took a photo of their business card. What was the English like? What was the quality like? What was the communication like? We ranked them from 1 to 5, right? And we put them all into a massive spreadsheet. Massive shout out to my good friend Nathan Bill that gave me this idea. And essentially, like when we came back to Australia, it's like we were still staying with our same manufacturer. But I was like, if the going gets tough, I need to have things in the works. So we were still sampling other manufacturers in the time. And then I was like, you know what, when it didn't come through and it wasn't sitting well with me, boom, just pulled the Band-Aid off straight away, went straight to the top one of our list. and was like, this is where we're at. This is the issues that we're having. Jump straight on a Zoom call with them. And I was like, this is what we're having. Can you guys rectify this? How can we fix this? Like, how can you make it better for us moving forward? Yes, we lose a lot of our buying power because we're starting from scratch, essentially. We don't have the buying power that we do. So manufacturing costs go back up to what we originally were when we first started, 6 years ago with this one manufacturer. So it's like, people don't see that. It's like, we had to take that step back to make sure they get a better quality, but we're losing profit margin. We could have happily just sold them out, but I didn't want to. So back to the drawing board, and even just challenged them. I was like, I'm happy to get on a flight to China tomorrow. Let's get this sorted out, type thing. And they've reassured. They've sent samples every single week. So if you're a manufacturer, if you're a clothing brand looking for a manufacturer, and you don't have the cash flow to go to China to check out manufacturers, Alibaba is just a safe space for you.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I will say this: if you've got enough of a cash buffer to do this, or maybe like super serious about it, it actually, and again, I've seen it from personal experience, do your numbers. It actually might be a little bit cheaper to go over there and see more manufacturers and get enough samples coming through to Australia and wait that time.
Yep.
That's it. In this plan that we were thinking about, and we kind of paused it for now, but we were dead set going to be like, we're just going to send this one person over and they can go to the Canton Fair and have all these conversations, because the cost of getting the samples and getting the right materials and what we want probably take a long time to do here in Australia.
Man, that is the smartest thing. If you've got the cash flow to drop, I think you could probably get to China for like, what, $1,200?
Yeah.
And then hotels and stuff like that. So you're probably all out of pocket, 2.5, let's say $3,000 spending money and all that type of stuff. Worst case scenario, because China's not expensive. You go there, you're going to be able to prototype things 10 times faster. You're going to be able to communicate. You're able to look and feel. And that's how we were able to probably grow so fast, because we were able to be there and see things on the ground and understand how things work, so that it made our product, better and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, look, again, man, appreciate the time that you've given to us. This is the third time.
Yes.
Now, again, if you want to go catch the other ones, because we did talk about the backstory of who you are in Livco in the very first one. The second one was, well, now in the intermediacy of just before this huge growth of 300%. You've talked a lot about, the connections you've got with new individuals, the value that you're giving back to customers. We talked about what the future of Livco sort of has ahead of time. I'd love to have these conversations, again, at another point in time, just to see how it all grows and whatnot. Appreciate the time. Is there anything that you leave, again, for individuals who either want to contact you, or they want to get your services for whatever reason, or they just want to support you in whichever way, where would you point individuals to?
Straight to my Instagram.
Yep.
Honestly, if you have any questions, just like send me a DM when I've got time. I will respond back to everybody.
Beautiful. All right.
Done.
Andrew, appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.